EErie's Notebook, December 24th, 1945. The Sodder Children Mystery. Solving mysteries is my forte, but sometimes the trails gets cold, and it makes me eerie. Picture this: 5 children vanishes without a trace, leaving a trail of eerie clues and unsettling questions. I'm here to piece together the puzzle of the Sodder children's disappearance. Fayetteville, West Virginia. The kind of small town where everyone knows your name and your business. The Sodders were Italian immigrants: George, Jenny, and 10 children. They were hardworking, patriotic, outspoken. George ran a trucking company. He was known in town for his strong opinions, especially against Mussolini. That didn't sit well with everyone. Christmas Eve, the family gathered for the holiday. Presents had been opened, music played, and laughter echoed through the home. 5 of the children stayed up late, playing in the living room. By 1 a.m., something went wrong. Very wrong. Jenny awoke to the sound of something hitting the roof. A sharp, loud thud, then a rolling noise. Moments later, she smelled smoke. The house was ablaze. George and Jenny managed to get 4 children out, but Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5, were trapped upstairs. George tried everything. He broke a window, sliced open his arms. His ladder, always leaned against the house, was missing. He ran to his work trucks, desperate to climb to the upper floor. But neither truck would start. They had worked perfectly the day before. In less than an hour, the house collapsed into smoldering ash. The children were gone. Now here's where things got strange. As a detective, the first thing you look for in a fire is remains. Bones, teeth, some trace. But there were none. Nothing. No human remains at all. Firefighters didn't arrive until daylight. The official explanation: faulty wiring. But George had just had the wiring inspected, passed with flying colors. The power had stayed on during the fire. Christmas lights twinkled as the house burned. That alone told me something was off. The fire chief claimed the blaze was too hot, too intense. But I've seen plenty of house fires. Even in cremation, bones don't burn completely. And this fire, it lasted just 45 minutes. You're telling me 5 children vanished in that blaze, without a single bone left behind? I wasn't buying it. Neither were the Sodders. In the days following the fire, clues began to emerge, and each one raised more questions. First, the ladder was found tossed in a ditch far from the house. Second, a neighbor said she saw a man stealing mechanical parts from George's trucks just before the fire. That might explain why they didn't start. Then, a woman claimed to see the children watching the house burn from a passing car. Another witness saw 5 children with 2 adults in a hotel weeks later, speaking Italian and refusing to talk to strangers. And the most chilling, Jenny Sodder tested bones in her stove. She cooked animal bones at high heat. They remained intact. So why, in a real house fire, were there no remains of 5 children? We also learned the phone line was cut, not burned. Someone had climbed a 14-foot pole and snipped it. This wasn't a simple house fire. This was something else entirely. The local authorities wrapped up the case quickly. The children got unalived in the fire, but nothing added up. And the deeper I dug, the more the inconsistencies piled up. The fire department took hours to respond. The coroner rushed the death certificates. The state refused to open an official investigation. George and Jenny were not wealthy. They were not connected. And yet, someone clearly didn't want this case solved. Some believed the mafia was involved, perhaps retaliation for George's anti-fascist views. Others whispered that the children had been taken and sold, part of some underground network. Whatever the theory, the official silence was deafening. So George and Jenny took matters into their own hands. They printed flyers, drove across the country chasing leads. Eventually, George put up a giant billboard on Route 16 with the children's photos, plastered with his question: what was their fate? Taken, unalived, burned. It became a local landmark, a symbol of desperation and defiance. They offered a $5,000 reward. then $10,000. Tips trickled in. They followed every one, but nothing stuck until 1968. 23 years after the fire, Jenny received an envelope, no return address, postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a man in his 20s. On the back, handwritten, Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, a 90132 or 35. Louis had been just 9 when he vanished, but the man in the photo, the resemblance was uncanny. The Sodders hired a private investigator to go to Kentucky. He vanished, never came back. No trace, no report. That photo still sends shivers down my spine. To this day, no one knows who sent it, or if it really was Louis. George crossed over in 1969, Jenny in 1989. Neither found their missing children, but their surviving children kept searching, still putting up signs, still asking questions. Over time, theories became folklore. Some said the children were taken overseas. Others believed a local cover-up, even suggesting the fire chief buried fake remains of the scene. Years later, bones found at the site were tested. They didn't match any of the Sodder children. They were from someone much older. How they got there, another mystery. Even today, no official investigation has ever reopened. But I'll tell you this, I've looked through every file, every witness report, every letter, and I believe something dark happened that night, something the world never wanted us to see. Not every case ends with answers. Some end in silence. But this case, it never really ended. 5 children, a house fire, a town full of whispers, no remains, no closure. The Sodder family never stopped searching, and honestly, neither have I. Because in every case, there's a moment you feel the truth tugging at your sleeve. And in this one, I still hear it in my sleep. Some fires burn away the truth, others light the path to it. But the Sodder case, that fire still burns.